It's not so much what we have in this life that matters. It's what we do with what we have. Beardos, beard fans, villains. Welcome to Villainous Vox, a voice for the villains. My name is John Wade. I'm your host for the Thought for the Day, and today we're looking at another thought from Mr. Rogers, who had this to say. He said, "It's not so much what we have in life that matters, it's what we do with what we have." Everybody has different economic levels. They are blessed with different things. They earn different things. They create and produce different things. We all have different stuff. It's really not our stuff that matters, though. The stuff does not make the person. It is what we do with what we have that matters. You could have more money than anybody else in the world and be the most unkind, uncharitable, unfriendly person. It is not what you have that is the measure of your character. It is what you do with what you have been given. In Lord of the Rings, yes, I'm a huge Lord of the Rings nerd. In Lord of the Rings, Gandalf said something really interesting about time. He said it's about what we do with the time that we've been given. The same lesson applies to our stuff. It's not just our time. Time is certainly our most precious resource. It's our most precious stuff. But it is equally important what we do with our material possessions. It is equally important how we choose to live our lives with the rest of our resources. Do we bless other people? Do we share with other people? Do we love other people with our stuff, with the things that we have? For some people, stuff is something to be accumulated and hoarded. We have shows on television about hoarding stuff. We have shows on television about people digging out from stuff. But there's very little that we see about people giving stuff away, about people giving away their possessions. I think it's because our tendency as human beings is to gather in the stuff. It's to gather in wealth and possessions and things. But how much nicer would life be if we chose to care for one another with the things that we have? Not just with our time, not just with our words, but with the things that we have. When we see that someone has a need, we give. When we see that someone has something that or that they need something that we have and we don't have a need for it, how much better would it be if we gave that instead of keeping the thing that we don't need anymore? I think life would look very different if we had a different attitude and mindset about it. And it's not hard to start changing our attitudes and mindset. Programs are in place, wonderful things that give us the opportunity to turn our stuff into opportunities for other people, into blessings for other people. Salvation Army, great, easy way to help use the things that you have to bless other people, to love other people. Give away stuff that's in your closet that honestly you haven't looked at in years. That's a great way. What about when somebody comes to you and asks for help financially? You may not be able to give them all that they need, but can you give them a few dollars? Sure. What about when somebody asks for a ride? Can you give them a ride, a meal? I think one of the most interesting examples and illustrations of love through stuff, of loving people with the things that we have, our material possessions, was while I was in Juarez, Mexico one year. I was there helping build a house, and one of the girls in the group that I was leading, she was going around the neighborhood talking to the different folks that lived there. And mind you, neighborhood is a very loose term for this place. It was a community built on top of a landfill. We were literally laying the foundation for the house in garbage because that's all there was. There was really no dirt, just garbage. And she came upon this little old lady who was knitting a shawl. And she told the little old lady in Spanish that she thought the shawl was beautiful. And the little old lady proceeded to go inside, take off the shawl that she was wearing that she had knitted, wrap it up in a little scrap of newspaper, bring it back out and give it to the girl. The girl tried to refuse, but the lady insisted. And I've never seen somebody cry so hard over something so simple and yet so deeply powerful. That little old lady loved that girl well with stuff, even though she had no stuff to give away. We're talking about a little old grandma, probably in her 80s, who lived in a house that's probably the size of your bathroom. It was more like a shack made of pallets and newspapers. And that to me is a prime example of you can do a whole lot of good with the stuff that you have. It doesn't matter what you have. In that case, it was a shawl. But whatever you have, use it to love other people well. Use it to bless other people, to care for other people. I think our world will look a whole lot more lovely if we do. So that's the thought for the day. Hope that it gives you something to think about. So, love you guys. This has been Villainous Vox, a voice for the villains. Until next time, y'all know what to do. Be good and Vox on.